design director at Insomniac Games, and this is the design team, the RC Deadlocked design team, or I should say Ratchet Deadlocked. And this is where it all starts. This is the genesis, where we come up with the maps, the characters, the descriptions, and we collaborate with the whole company in determining what we want to do for Ratchet Deadlocked. So we've got Troy Dunaway here, who's our lead designer, and right now we're just wrapping things up. We're working on our gold disc, so he's tweaking all the various VO and audio and making sure that what we're instructing the player is all correct. I don't want to give him the wrong message. We have James Messina over here, and he's playing Shell Shock, who's the first major boss in the game, and James is doing various tweaks to make sure the boss is fun, and everything's working.
So as the lead designer on this project, I'm primarily responsible for kind of keeping it all together. I'm the one that's helping manage the team, I'm the one that's helping manage all of the levels, making sure they're fun, continually playing through the game, making sure that everything's going to hit our high quality marks, and making sure that everything's kind of going smoothly and coordinating between all the different departments, which is a big task when we have a lot of different art and programming and other dependencies that keep the designers from being able to do their jobs day to day. So my job is to make sure that we have what we need to do to get the job done. This project, the schedules here at Insomniac are very short, and they're very condensed compared to many other teams and many other projects. And so our schedules are a little bit different in the sense that we start with a very high concept. We decide what we want to do very quickly, and then we just start building the game. We're using kind of the same tools and the same technology that we have for our previous games, which allows us to move very quickly into production on levels. And then with that, we just start slowly massaging and slowly figuring out like what our enemies are, what's going to be fun, what's going to be those unique things that really set this game apart, and we kind of figure that out a little bit as we go versus spending a lot of time up front writing lots and lots and lots of documents and spending lots of time just thinking about things. And then from there we sort of move into just a bit more of a pure production. We design all the levels, we work on paper to figure out how the levels are going to be built, and then from there actually just start quickly building them in Maya, and we try to figure out how that's going to fit into our game and what's going to make those fun. Trying to prototype them as quickly as possible and actually just get them up and running. In the meantime, while that's happening, the artist will start building all the assets required to build these levels. As you'll see in the game, it's extremely art detailed. All of our levels are extremely detailed and very unique, and there's not a whole lot of sharing between each level. So it requires us to kind of spend a lot more time building a lot of the artwork than in other games.
Let's see, what next? Here we have Jeff. He's worked on Phoenix. He's a tools programmer, and he helps develop the tools we use to put the game together. Without the tools, we can't make the game. So as we move over into this section, we have the gameplay programmers. Hey guys. So how they always greet me. We have Keith Lee. He's our lead gameplay programmer on Ratchet Deadlocked. And they're working hard to finish things up. We've got Stephen Lim, or Slim, who's developed all the weapons. And then we've got Carl Blade, who's programmed all the various vehicles. Hey Carl, how's life? Excellent.
What I do is generally manage our team, which consists of maybe about 10 single-player programmers. And so what we do is we implement everything from the gameplay of the game, all the monsters on each of the levels, all the weapons, all the visual effects for the game, as well as polishing the game and adding a lot of the little flares and polish that make Ratchet so special. So we make a lot of the really cool napalm effects for all the different weapons. we actually implement all the behaviors of how the enemies move and react and fight.
Most of it is designed from designers. Say we're gonna have a rocket launcher in this game, we're gonna have a machine gun in this game. Some of the weapons I just dreamt up. Like we knew we were gonna have a really big gun, the BFG, I guess that some games call it. I dreamed up like how it would work, and I worked with people, talked with people, bounced ideas off them. And that's pretty much it's give and take. It's not all on designers, it's not all on the programmer, it's not all on any one person. It's pretty collaborative, and it goes from that idea to me making a prototype of the weapon, which, as it turns out, for a weapons programmer, it seems like I pretty much have to make the whole weapon before I can actually show it to anybody, because that first impression is critical. If that weapon, if it's half-baked when I show it off, it totally changes the impression of the weapon, and I have to overcome a lot just to resell the weapon.
For Ratchet Deadlocked, I did the vehicle code and the majority of the special effects. And once they have the design, they collaborate with the programmers to ensure that it is feasible and make sure that it'll work within the engine that we have. We have an equal share of crushing dreams. They crush our dreams, we crush their dreams. But usually we work together to get a good solution that we both are really happy with.
Here's our Ratchet statue, Ratchet Clank from Up Your Arsenal. This is our kind of our little altar. We'll put candles around it and say little prayers when we start each game. This is the fishbowl over here, and this is kind of the receptionist area. A nice view of beautiful Burbank, California. So let's meet Brian Burnell, shall we? Hey Brian, how you doing?
What's up?
Brian is our localization coordinator. He makes sure that all of the various text and information gets entered into the localization database and gets translated, and everything's coordinated. How many messages and various text descriptions would you say are in the game?
Thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah. 6 different languages,
Yeah.
distributed all throughout the world. There's just a mass amount of text that goes into these games.
Would you say there's probably around over 3,000 various messages just for each language?
Minimum. Minimum.
Wow. So it's like over 18,000 different descriptions. Pretty big.
A lot of text.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, Brian. All right. Our animation crew is over here. That sounded like a Simpson character. The animation crew is over here. So this is where they create all of the wonderful characters and make all the motions and cinematics and movies and all that stuff. So as you can see, everyone's working diligently. Okay, let's see, round up some more animators. So this is another part of our animation department. Hey guys, this is a walkthrough for the Prima strategy guide. Hey. And so they have a mirror over here where they can do various act things out and get various poses down. So, firing a gun.
Typical day, I'm given animations to do or move sets for a particular character, and then from idles to attacks to damage animations and whatnot. So on a given day, mostly I'll do those, and then work with programmers to help them get implemented and look really good in the engine and in the game. So the style that we animate and the kind of game that Ratchet is kind of lends itself, or it's a little bit more forgiving in that you can actually scale certain parts of the arms. Little industry secret here or not, or you can really exaggerate certain appendages and literally stretch them or break them, we call it, breaking the arm and whatnot. And so, because the animation style as well as the style of game and character that we're making, it actually lends itself to it, so it's a little bit more forgiving.
All right. Here's our QA departments, and they are testing the single-player side of the game. We've got single-player, multiplayer, and they're finding bugs, writing them up, and making sure they get fixed. This is their wall of defense right here. Kim is a lead QA guy, and he makes sure that all the discs get burned and everything's in order, and creates test plans and all that fun stuff. Yeah. Okay, and then we should film over here because there's some licensed characters and top secret stuff. Oh yeah, I thought you asked that. Okay. You're gonna edit that part out, right? Here's our multiplayer QA side. Hey guys, hey. How's it going? I take care of the test team and making sure that they're getting what they need in terms of new builds, and they're finding what they need to find. Just kind of a little direction, I guess, in the chaos that ensues in the development process. So we get on pretty early, actually. As soon as there's something playable, pretty much, even if it's just like a wasteland of just floating polygons or whatever. As long as there's something to test, we're on it. So this is the Ratchet Deadlocked environment team. They build all of the various worlds and levels, and create cities. And so we have Jacinda Chu over here, who's the lead environments artist. That's your new title. That's right. Over here is where they mix sound. This is all of the sound equipments for making sure all the enemy deaths and gunshot sounds and laser beams and alien roars are all put together. And let's see if Paul Mudra is here. Hey Paul, how's it going?
Very good.
How'd you like to be on camera?
I'm responsible for all the audio that we put into our game, and that's everything to do with the dialogue that we record and the processing on that, sound effects for all of the creatures and objects in the game, ambient sounds. We don't actually do the music in-house, but I direct the composer in terms of the style, and do like music supervision on what to create, and cinematic mixes and everything. So pretty much everything that has an audio component I oversee and our team creates. We try and get in right at the beginning, especially for games that are going to be either brand new in terms of a first in a franchise that we're going to create, or when we're going to change gameplay radically. Ratchet Deadlocked was that type of a game where we wanted to do a lot of things that we had not done before in any previous Ratchet game. So early on we wanted to get involved with the process of what is design planning to do, what's the story going to, what's going to unfold with the story, and from the music we wanted to reflect all the things that that they were doing with the game, and that meant a very different music style because the game itself was changing quite a bit from previous Ratchet games. Typically, we try and see if we can get a model from the animators, or even just a sketch of the weapon in relation to how big it is and what the functionality of that weapon is. A good example might be the flail in this game that we have. So we wanted to make sure that it had a great ratchety chain sound when it was swinging out and then coming back in. And so we kind of sat down and looked at the animations, and we talked to the guys who were going to be programming it, and to the designers in terms of how it was going to function and all the special cases that were going to occur with that. And then we kind of pull elements. We know that we want it to have a huge boomy impact, and we know that we want it to be metallic on the chain when it retracts and expands out. And other sounds that we know we'll need with the weapons, such as an equip sound when you first pull it out. It then has this unfolding chink as it's unlocking and folding into place. And whenever you're out of ammo, it needs a sound for that too. So it's just basically looking at all of the functionality of the weapon completely and hopefully seeing it in the game, and then we can just start to attach sounds to it.
I think we're almost done with our tour. We're going to go by the character department where they actually build the characters, and then we should be done. So I think the first day for any Insomniac is just figuring out this maze, all the various corridors. All right, so over here we've got the character team, and what they'll do is they will build the different characters. Hey guys, surprise! So Greg Baldwin's the lead RC Deadlocked character guy, and he makes sure that all the characters get built and textured and colored correctly and looking good. And then of course all these characters get skeletons and they can be animated and put into the game, brought to life.
In the character team, we design a lot of the characters. In fact, we design all the characters. We design the look and feel of how those characters are going to be in the environments. This game in particular has been really important for us to make sure that the colors read on each of the characters. We've had a very good relationship with the environment team to make sure that our characters stand out and are very clear when we want them to be or when they want to blend in so they feel a little bit more camouflaged. It's really about how we want the gameplay to feel, and we're able to control that a lot with the color palettes. We had an enemy character that was called the Reaper, and he was kind of a lizardy creature. We knew he wanted to be an organic creature. He had spikes on his back, and he was kind of simian in quality, and basically lent himself to kind of a combination of sort of a crocodile slash ape slash let's say a porcupine. And when you put all those attributes together, it was a pretty clear picture for us what that character was going to look like. When the character team went at it, the design team seemed very happy with it, and the whole character came together really well. Yeah, we had a character that was going to be a snake beast, and for a long time, the snake was supposed to kind of rise up out of the water and kind of shoot you with some sort of laser beam or something like that. And then if you basically got it down to a certain level, it would jump out and chase you. And the situation we had was that it was going to have these very little tiny legs, and how to get a character to feel very ominous and scary, scurrying around on these little legs with a big long neck. And obviously that's not the most scary creature you've ever heard of. And what we ended up doing is switching the whole thing around. And after a lot of talks and a lot of debates and finding out exactly what we needed to accomplish with this character, we came up with a scorpion. So the tail is actually what's coming up out of the ground, and when that thing jumps out of the water, it's a very horrific looking scorpion chasing you down.